Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe. There's a notifications bell down in the corner that will let you know as to when I'm going live. So it's been a few days since I've been on here and everything has been going good. Athena is staying with me. She did not want to be on camera though. Which is understandable because a lot of people are very self-conscious on camera and it's not comfortable for everybody. So I understand that. Hi, cyanide and happiness. um, so I'm going to talk about a little bit what it's been like. I haven't really been going out of my mind so much, except in the aspect of maybe social media. Man, here's what I'm going to tell you from Seattle, okay? Everybody's joking. It's ha 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 ha, funny, funny, funny. It isn't that big of a deal, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden it starts killing people you know. And it becomes a lot more serious. And it starts affecting families. And it starts literally shutting down a city. And then all of a sudden the joking's not so funny anymore. And people start to calm down with that. But what I've noticed is also we have a population that is really working together, and that is huge. So we do have people taking personal responsibility. Of course, we do have those little factions that are, they're going to do what they're going to do. And in the end, if they don't get sick and die, they're probably going to pass it to somebody who will. It's just a reality of the situation right now. Hi, Karen. Hi, Blair. So it's been really touchy knowing that really we were not prepared. It's been interesting to see how our world is going to change. As of today, we have shut down all our schools, private and public, until April 24th, which next day would be April 27th. Pretty much in a slow manner, because of economic concerns, because of having to, figure out those little details that are really important in our society, such as childcare, things like that. We have been slowly shutting things down. But as it stands now, it is an hourly developing situation. But it is very serious. And if you're still one of the ones that's joking around and flitting around about I'll be fine, please think about other people that would not be fine. It's grand if you're in that 80%, but if you're not, things are serious. And let me just tell you right now, whole countries do not shut down their economies over the flu. Doesn't happen. So take that as you will. Sheila, stay safe. I love you. Please take every precaution. We are taking every precaution possible. Washing. I'm always got my hands in water or on cleaner or something. And Sheila, you know me. So yeah, I've been kind of wiping down surfaces and everything. And of course, it's been actually great having Athena here because I know Athena from my encampment under Eastlake, when I used to live under Eastlake. She was at the same encampment. And we work really well together. So she's not getting on my nerves or invading my space or doing any of those things that I would normally have an issue with somebody doing. Has been extremely respectful, and it's been awesome. So it has not been an issue. I have been, let me address some comments. Lotus. Hi, Lotus. Blair, I'm back so far. Hope it works. Okay. SJ. Hello, SJ. Love from Seattle. This is the way we're going to show love from now in Seattle, just online. Showing love from Seattle. Don't touch me. And the funny thing is, okay, maybe not funny, but I'm going down to get mail the other day, and one of the, I guess, management people, because they switch building managers like every other month, was down there, and I was talking with our maintenance guy who was next to him, and he reaches out his hand to shake my hand, and I went, "Whoa, let's not." Like, that tells me how serious you're taking this. Like, wow, could we not? And let's get some wipes up at the gym. Luckily, I did talk to them, and the gym is being open now so that we can use it and get some exercise. Um, I actually know that really, honestly, I'm about the only one that uses a gym regularly. So I'm not too worried about too much cross contamination. I'm making sure take wipes and things like that. It's great. Um, Sheila, of course you are, and I'm sure you're pushing others to clean also. Yeah, I will say though, during this whole thing, I have seen others really dismiss the reality. Sorry, I'm on a rolly chair and it's very hard to keep myself still when I'm in a spinny chair. So if you see me kind of zone out and start spinning, I can't help it. um, where was that? Oh, yeah. In this whole thing, I have realized that it's almost like everything else, like climate change, all of that. I can yell and scream into the void, but in essence, doing, as long as there's action behind it, going to meetings, legislative, spreading the word, that's great. But in this, it's really about letting the storm rage. This is going to change everything in our lives, such as policies, such as our societal fabric, how we work, how we treat the very most vulnerable of our society. And so this is going to change a lot of things. And so for myself, I really, at first I started, of course, screaming into the void, everybody take precautions, please, this is serious. Had people pop up on my feed with, oh, it's like the flu and blah, 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 blah. Tried to explain that that's not how it works. Please quit taking your advice from anybody that's not an epidemiologist. They're the ones, or, it just blew my mind that people were taking advice from people, at a grocery store, and it just, I was floored. But I can say that when it hits, it is very serious, and we're all doing the best we can. And in my view, and in what I do, I did take the emergency contract with the community liaisons for the Department of Neighborhoods. And so but we're allowed to work from home and reach our demographic that way. So that's really great. But we also are passing along information that will go to the mayor's office and kind of tell them a little bit about what we're seeing, what we're hearing, what's going on in the world outside, because they need us to be able to filter. They're working on this. This is a pandemic. And so I was really proud to be able to take that and be able to, add to the solution. And so I'm concentrating on that. But what I'm not doing, because I'm a displacement consultant, I advocate for the homeless and all the things that I do. I hold several different hats, but whatever. In the end, I fight for human rights and environmental rights as much as possible, whatever. And I found that I have to sit back. Right now is not the time. Like, it would be great to be able to plan, like 2 months in the future, but things are going to be different. And so for myself, it calms me to just be like, all right, guys, like, you've been warned, you were told, if you don't take responsibility, I'm done yelling. I'm done screaming about it. I'm done feeling like, that feeling of dismissal. And so I just figured, okay, well, you know what? If any time is the time to sit back, this is it. This is it. Like, just let the storm rage. And when it's done raging, we'll pick up where we left off and, do what we can in the meantime. I was able to, Laura of Seattle Dogs, she doesn't gather people. So she takes supplies out to individuals. Should she be doing it with her health? Absolutely not. Is she going to continue but wear PPE, which which is personal protective equipment. Absolutely. Um, and so I made sure to pass those on so that they did get to the vulnerable communities. But one thing that we are telling people is please, protect the vulnerable. And our unhoused are like the most vulnerable. They're made up of a lot of seniors and a lot of people with pre-existing conditions. And so it's imperative. But we do have people right now skipping around thinking they're going to come into contact with people and drop a bunch of supplies and probably going to pass it to a couple encampments. And then people are going to die. But honestly, what are you going to do other than just contact, the people, the emergency managers, and let them know that there are people who are refusing to take any responsibility. Um, let's see. Karen, do you know if China would have taken your precautions? Has anyone ever been to China? All you have to do is watch it. Actually, Karen, China is being lauded for their efforts. The reason that China did not have as many deaths as we are going to see and as Italy is seeing and Iran and everywhere else is because they took measures, as soon as it was apparent to lock down cities, to make sure that people were quarantined, to make sure people were in isolation, and it still hit them hard. China is not a third world country. And if we think that we are any cleaner than them, we are wrong. We are all human beings, and human beings are filthy. Like in the Middle Ages, we used to throw our feces from the roof onto the street, onto people's heads. And humans are just by nature. We're pretty gross human beings. We shed bacteria. It has nothing to do with one culture necessarily or one region being cleaner than another. That's not what's going to be the thing here. What it's going to do is it is going to sweep areas of people that are vulnerable and don't have access to hygiene. And that's actually a large portion of our cities. And I think people don't understand the absolute scope of how many unhoused there are and what this is going to do to that population. This phase of the apocalypse sucks. Well, I don't know if I believe in apocalypse necessarily, because here's the deal. Like every day, like who's apocalypse? Like, okay, it's going to get bad. Yeah, absolutely. Is the world changing? Absolutely. Is it going to change so much that it becomes very hard for humanity to survive? Yes. Is that an apocalypse for us? But the people that, were bombed, that was the apocalypse to them. Like they died. Like every day is we face an apocalypse of our own. Like, isn't that, we're all just putting off the inevitable. Blair, my mom, I know Emily. I just kind of like roll. Sometimes I expound on things, and I'm not necessarily like trying to pick you out. Blair, my mom stacked up on things today because of the virus. It's a very scary situation. Good, absolutely, she did the right thing. It is very serious, and it is not something that, like I said, everybody's ha 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 laughing it up, joking about it. I'm like, hey, it's time for isolation. Like if you have a compromised immune system, this is serious. If you're a senior, this is serious. Hey guys, just because you're at the 80% doesn't mean you can't spread it and kill other people that are vulnerable. Please pay attention. And then all of a sudden, people didn't, and things got real quick. And now all of a sudden people are starting to work together. And I think that maybe that's the hope, is that in the end, when push comes to shove, we don't need a government necessarily telling us what the right thing is. We listen to our researchers, we listen to our scientists, we listen to the people that have the knowledge, and we work it from there. Hi, Roxy. Yeah, I haven't been on for a few days, and honestly, it's because I didn't know what I would necessarily talk about or do. Good, Blair. She should. She absolutely should. And I hope you guys stay totally safe. Remember social isolation. I'm sure your mom has all of the guidelines, so I'm sure you'll be just fine. But I'm glad that you guys are staying safe. It is so important. Um, and I have been very, very blessed. I've had people sending groceries. I have had people providing funds so that I can get groceries. And, you know, luckily I've been able to make us some really yummy and fresh meals. And it is really nice because I cook a lot of times. I'll send stuff to the apartment below, but I never get any feedback as to whether it was good or whether anybody enjoyed it or anything like that. So it's kind of nice to cook for somebody and see that they're enjoying it and be like, that's a win. Little narcissistic, but whatever. Hold on, I'm gonna drink some coffee. My throat is dry. I did, however, because I have been cooking and baking, and I have to say right now, I am so thankful that I have skills for baking because Kate had showed me a picture of the bread aisles and they were empty. And I'm like, why would you stock on bread? Like it goes bad. And then I was realizing like people don't just throw a loaf of bread together anymore. Like that's not a thing. I was like, because I'm stocking up like on flour, sugar, yeast, things to make, things with over a long period of time. And I was just surprised. And then it really brought me to the realization of how many people just really um, are going to have some issues with perishables and being unable to get that. Let's see, Teresa. Hi, Teresa. You look nice. Thank you. I don't think people should panic. Just take precautions, especially if you're not well. And right. And there is a difference. And here I will say this: there is a huge difference between being knowledgeable and panicking. Panicking causes you to buy a truckload of toilet paper. Okay? Not necessary. Completely unnecessary. That's panicking. Panicking does no good. It's the same thing as worrying. Remember, I don't know how many of you watched previous vlogs when I talk about worrying. I believe in overthinking. I believe in it hardcore. I believe that we should think about our thinking and think about it some more and think about that thinking as well. What I don't believe in is taking a situation or an idea or whatever and doing the washing machine with it. In other words, spinning that with no productivity or advancement in thought, just spinning. And I believe that panic is very similar to that. And did I go and start hoarding? Absolutely not. Did I put things on a list for a vulnerable population that I serve? Yes. Did I reach out to people and say, this is very serious. Please take precautions. They're not playing around. Yes, I did. But I didn't. When I talk about screaming into the void, you can scream into the void and raise your hands and go like, ah! But there's also screaming into the void, such as climate change. Scientists have been saying forever, this is a threat multiplier. Hey guys, pandemic. Hey guys, political instability. Hey guys, infrastructure. Hey guys, this. And everybody's like, whatever, and then it becomes real. Let's see. People have been saying it's a joke and saying nothing will happen, but they need to prepare. Yeah, and that's what I was saying, Blair, in the beginning is, people laugh until it hits home. I personally know one of our outreach workers who has a parent that was in the Life Care Center. It's very real, and this is affecting real people, and they have real lives and real loved ones, and this hurts them. And I think we need to have compassion about that. And I think when people joke around, they're really trying to make themselves feel better, right? I think that's what it's all about, because I think that, anything that we can't control can be rather. Are you dying. What are you talking about? not a joke. And people dying's not funny, and I'm not laughing because of that. Um, Kate, just checking in, leaving in a few, loading the truck. The boy dogs are. That's another thing. Kate, I gotta send a huge thank you out to you, checking on me, making sure that we're okay. I can't even tell you how much I really appreciate that. It's huge. It's huge in the scope of knowing that I'm going to be okay and that this is not going to break me. And I'm not going to starve and I'm going to eat healthy and even sending vitamins. And I think I will have the immune system of a superhero after this. Sending so much love to you. Thank you. Blair, the stores in LA are basically empty. So I think people are panicking. They are. And it's based out of fear. But one thing that was pointed out to me during brain injury rehab, because I have frontal lobe injuries and I have problems with fear, which means that I am not afraid in situations that I should be afraid in. And so there is definitely a reason that humans get fear. It's an emotion. What you do with that fear is what's important. And so I had to learn that if somebody is saying they're going to shoot me, that you don't call them a liar and tell them to bring it. That's not appropriate. Right? That's a situation that I should have fear for and do things that are preventative and acting in my best interest. But or maybe run. Maybe people run away too. I mean, that could be a thing. But fear, there is a legitimate reason for people to be fearful. I know people that are in severely vulnerable situations and they should be afraid. But they should do things in educated fear. Like, okay, I'm afraid of this. So these are the preventative measures that I'm going to take to make sure that I and those that I'm close to are safe. Not, I don't know what to do. It's just so awful. See, that's panicking. I need all the toilet paper. So sorry. I mean, a little extra is good. Like, that's something, you don't want to run out of, but it got ridiculous. But you know what though? Honestly, in my opinion, I think that whole thing was about control. People feel very out of control when it's something that they don't know about, when it's something that they can't see even. And I think that right there is people expressing a form of control over their lives and where they want to be with clean butts, I guess. But I have compassion for that. I think that we all do maybe some irrational things to feel like we're in control of our lives and we're in control of the things around us. And if that means that you buy 100 rolls of toilet paper, if you've got storage and stuff, be about it. I mean, maybe after this, you'll have tons left and donate it to a bunch of shelters. Like, yay. This stuff this could work out. We'll be all right. Let's see. Blair. Okay, Chris. Hi, Chris. Roxy, Amanda, you're losing it. It makes me laugh, right? You can see her crawl across the bottom of the screen. I don't think they saw you. I saw you. Nailed it. Ava, Trump 2020. You know what? Here's my thing. I'm just going to sit back while this takes place and see who's left out the bunch. We got a lot of seniors in there. I ain't even worried. Teresa. Oh, and don't let the media scare the life out of you. I don't have a lot of confidence in what they're reporting. You know what? Here's the thing about media. We say media, fake news, whatever. And I think that it's our job to check. We need to be able to discern what an opinion piece is and what a factual piece is. And for some reason, we've lost this discernment in our society, and especially as Americans. I've noticed it over the years getting worse and worse and worse. People reading headlines instead of actually opening things up and following links, making sure that their sources are reliable. I've done it. I've shared things that were not reliable and had to admit and say, I'm sorry, I did not fact check that. And it has become a thing, but it is a personal responsibility for ourselves to be able to look at our news and be able to understand whether it is a reporting of a topic. And the thing is a lot of times that's what it is. It's like, okay, we get a lot of, like, they will report on one thing. Like, for example, we have so many, you know, um, women unsheltered on the streets. And immediately you will have somebody who goes, well, what about the vets? Well, what about this? And so I think that a lot of times we're not even following one topic well. And I've noticed that a lot in conversations where it's very hard to even hold. I can't imagine, like, if the media or because I know a lot of reporters, okay, and they're very, very hardworking, and they do fact check, and they are amazing human beings who work really, really hard. And I think that that's what we need to be cognizant of is when we talk about media, are we really talking about our headlines that we just skim and we're taking that as factual information? Or are we actually reading what reporters are reporting and making sure that they're fact checking? I see so many people take opinion and just make it fact. And it's like, we need to be able to discern between that. And that's on us. That's our personal responsibility. And the reason I say this is because we're all on media. We're on media right now. Everything we get is from media, and so it's important to discern. Mainstream media has its place. The reason it's called mainstream is because it reaches a large audience. In other words, everybody's tuned in. That's what makes it mainstream. Now, if we are to use that as our only sources, we're doing a disservice to ourselves. It's up to us to look for other sources. It's up to us to educate ourselves. And when we fail to do that, well, that's where it lends into problems. But I try to now just like, I, the big lesson I've learned in all of this is people are going to be people. And all I can do is live my life the best I can. And they're going to believe what they want to believe. They're going to think what they want to think. And I'm just going to try to be my cognitive best and do what I can. What do I think of Trump? Wow, you asked that a lot, Ava. So I'm guessing that that's kind of a troll thing, and you're thinking he's, I don't know. It seems a little obsessive. I think that if you would like to know my opinions on things, there are over 100 videos that I've done that really state my opinions on human rights and where we are. I don't need to tell you what I think of an individual. I think it's clear that I stand for something. And if that person does not stand for those same things, then I'm probably not a huge fan. Okay. Kate, opinion or humor? People in Iran have been dying of alcohol poisoning because people in the West have been joking about drinking alcohol to fight coronavirus. I think that's horrible. I think it's sad. There's also people here in the United States, like, they had to come out with an article telling people, please don't do cocaine. It's not going to kill the coronavirus. People were literally doing cocaine thinking that it was going to, like, the rationale, because we have just been so uneducated, is crazy. And I really think that somewhere like Iran right now is building trenches, burial trenches for their dead. That's how many people are dying over there, that they can't fit them all in. These are small countries. They're overwhelmed. And so people are terrified because the people they know around them are dying or getting extremely sick. And I want to point something out is that when people say that 80% or whatever get better, that doesn't mean that you don't have long-term lung damage. It doesn't mean that your immune system didn't take a hit and now you are more apt to get other things. That just means that you recovered from that particular pneumonia. Understand that there are long-term consequences to this as well. This is not just one and done. This isn't a cold. Yeah, Kate, though you're so right on though. Like it's, it gets to the point where people are willing to literally do anything and everything. And I think that also, yeah, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine, you know, and part of it too is imagine if we didn't have an educational system and people were literally getting news from social media and we're putting out that, like people in Corona beer. I can't pretend that I understand the absolute depth of what is going on. I just know that it's going to change everything. Everything? Oh, everything. um Didn't you ask that last time, Ava? Yeah, she did. She did. I didn't realize I had a troll. Isn't that supposed to be like, I don't know, a rite of passage is getting some of them? Gallows humor, right? I have been doing a lot of that. A lot of sarcasm, a lot of gallows humor. Yeah. And I think it's important. I think that laughing through everything is important. I think that um, we have to continue to be ourselves. And that means finding the funny, finding the beauty, finding the joy, finding peace, being able to center. And if you are like me and you have to be in, I found out the term is quarantine, not isolation. Isolation is where you have it and they put you in isolation. So it's quarantine. But if you also are in quarantine, use like what I'm doing to use this time is to do the things that I love with no guilt, which means cooking, baking, painting. I on my list I put some potting soil because it is planting time. I wrote the first page in the book I'm writing, which I was asked a question by Grim Reaper in the comments of one of my things, asking if I had a document that told about why I became homeless, what my jobs were before I became homeless. So pretty much a life story. And here's the thing. I do these vlogs for a reason. It's all about my life. And if I am going to write anything like that down, it's going to be in a book. And I am working on one. What I do have to say is that being unhoused and being homeless, whatever you want to call it, being displaced, doesn't define me. There is a lot to me other than that. Is it still pretty fresh? Yeah. Is it going to be for a minute? Yeah. But it doesn't define me. The world is a beautiful place, and there are a lot of experiences that I've had that shape who I am and what I do and what I can bring to the table. And so I don't think that the continuing questions, especially years afterwards, I've done several vlogs on all of those questions, and that's something. If you want to know, the answers are there. And when I do write my book, you are more than welcome to buy a copy. Trevor, hello. Karen, when they mentioned viruses, that's when everyone paid attention. That's when everyone paid attention right away, so didn't they? I'm not sure what you mean. Attention viruses. Everyone. Why didn't they? Okay, I think what you're asking is why they didn't pay attention here. And a lot of that has to do, I believe, with there's a feeling, and I can't say enough for other countries, but here especially, that it won't affect us. Like somehow we're beyond the world scope, somehow different. And that is not the case. And I think that it was too little too late. I think that we had our pandemic response teams. It was so bad that they literally not only defunded CDC in large ways, but they were banning the use of science-backed and evidence-based and data-driven, even words. And it's appalling to me. And I understand exactly why they're worried it's going to be so bad here, is because we have an entire faction of people that do not believe in science. And it's terrifying, absolutely terrifying. Ava must have a lot of time on her hands if she has time to come here and even try to get people started on things, if that's irrelevant. Probably not. I agree. I've mentioned that before. Like people who come on and like, it always drives, like, okay, if somebody doesn't like me, why would they tune in? Like, I don't spend my time doing things that I don't like, or, see, like, I don't get it. Like, I'm not striving to make myself angry. I think that's a little bit ridiculous, but different strokes for different folks, I guess. Anybody have any questions? I am going to show you one of the paintings I completed and one that I'm working on. If you want to just hold there. This right here is my newest. And then this is the one I am working on right now. So I know you guys had said that you would like me to do a vlog with me painting, but I really do, like, it's a thing that I really like listening to music when I paint. And so there are copyright issues. And I don't know that I would get into it as much if music wasn't playing, because it kind of soothes me and kind of puts me in that zone. Thank you, Blair. I appreciate that. Yeah, I love painting. It's something I really enjoy doing. And I will get into the spirit of writing. I think it was, I was telling my daughter, I was like, the thing is you just got to do it. Like, no matter what you're doing, like, I could talk about writing a book all day long, but it's not getting completed if I just talk about it. I actually have to do it. And so I started and I'm doing it. Let's see. Hi, Teresa. Are you sure you want to walk? I said, are you sure you want to walk? You can crawl. That's okay, Karen. I think I sorted it out. It's fine. We were exposed to Parvo 3 years ago. I gotta watch 6 out of 2. I don't know, it turned out no better, but this reminds me of that. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be rough, and that's why they're really, it's so important. They're really calling on people to take personal responsibility. And I mean, Kate, you're in my area, so I mean, what's going on, and that we are taking it very seriously here. But there are a lot of areas that that there's going to be an extreme loss of life because they didn't take it seriously. And that loss of life may not be the young, strong, and healthy, but are those of us who aren't, are our lives worth any less? Like, really? Kind of sucks to think that way. Like, I kind of take it a little personally. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm important too. I matter too. And great if you're not gonna get sick, but I will. So please don't. But then again, I am taking personal responsibility to quarantine myself so that I stay healthy for those that I love. And when all of this is over, I can still continue to serve my population with my entire self because I will be healthy. And I think that's really important. And I really had to come to terms with that and realize that. Hi, Busy Bee. Um, you're starting modeling when summer starts. Oh, that's exciting. That's wonderful. I hope you like it. um, how much for the painting on the wall? Which one? I have, let's see, there is 3 there, and then the one I just showed. And they're all different prices. Um, since those are larger, those start at 75. And then this one here, down here, is 80. So the trees, those ones. Why don't you message me? Because I'm just going to say I will give you a discount because you've done a lot. Like, I appreciate all your support. You have been absolutely amazing at just really responding. And when there was a crisis, you responded right away. I do give 20% of all my paintings or photography. 20% goes to nonprofits that support our unhoused efforts. When I do sell paintings this time, though, for at least the next couple months, those that will be going more than likely to Seattle Dogs and One Health. The trees. Okay, you have my email address. Okay, all right. Have you got to see your daughter yet? No, nope. And we will not get to see each other until this is over. Um, but I get to talk to her every day, so that's really great. Um, today is my youngest birthday. She's 19. I don't know how I got to be so old. Didn't I say that earlier today? Yeah. But it makes me happy. I hope I get to see her soon too. I miss her face so very, very much. And she is definitely one of the best things in my life. Is a girl there my friend? Yes, she is. She was my campmate for quite a while, and she is definitely a friend and kind of one of my kids. um, so I guess the answer to that is she's fam. And the people I live with out there, we went through a lot of shit together. And I mean, there's a few that like Toast who beat Padfoot, who's always going to be expelled. Yeah, he's expelled. Like, there's certain things you just don't do, and beating a dog's head in is one of those. Sorry, you can't be fam no more. Walls, boundaries. Busy. I just sent her my trip. Can't cancel my trip to see my dad in England. He's 82, so it's going to have to be Skype for the foreseeable. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I take what's called a biologic because I have a form of arthritis called ankylosing spondylitis, and it is an immunosuppressant. And so in that, I am one of the immunocompromised people. Regardless of my age, I have underlying health conditions. And so it's very important for me to not be exposed. And so I'm glad that, people are taking it seriously enough to not, like my daughter, not fly in and have airport and airline exposures. And, you know, thank you, Kayak Extreme. You're amazing. Thank you so much. um, So, I'm glad that people are able to, cancel their trips or reschedule while thinking about others. And that was something my daughter was very concerned about, was that, if she got on that plane and someone had that and she brought it to me and I was critical, and even if I didn't die, I had serious complications, it would, she would feel just, it would tear her apart. And that's definitely not something that we want to do. Um, any other questions or anything? No. Um, Kayak excursions, please email me your address and I will get it in the mail as soon as possible. Okay. I'm not going to be making any trips to post office, but I downloaded this app for like a new shipping thing, and I think they come right to your door. So to pick up packages, which would be phenomenal. Okay, everybody, that's kind of the updates for now. I don't know. I guess I will keep you guys updated as things go. And to Bill, Kay, everybody that has been just so amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And, you know, I am humbled to have the support that I have and the love that comes my way from people. And I thank you all so very, very much. All right. Bye. And stay safe. I'm telling you, this is serious. Like, stay safe too. Like, take it seriously. If you didn't catch that earlier. Bye, everybody.